Evans, another pass. Pulling, it's intercepted! Taking it back is Keontae Scott! He'll go all the way! Touchdown, Miami! Locks on Tennessee. David Alano with the winner. Foxy's going with 5. Bane Evans in, gets the pass away. It's intercepted! Picked off by Lucas. The Verbo Fiesta Bowl has one team in it. Miami advances to the semifinal. 3 more quarterfinals tomorrow. Line call first.
We want to Georgia State! To Georgia State!
Sitting here again talking about the same things.
Okay, I think we're good now. Sorry about the technical difficulties, everyone. StreamYard decided to go like our defense and just vanish off the face of the earth. But so we had to restart the stream. But things seem to go running well now. At least on my end, they're good. Red, they're good on your end, correct? I'll take that as a yes.
Yeah, I think they appear to be, because we got a larger audience watching this live feed now, so it's not fucked up. Anyway, Squid, I think we can all agree that is probably the best approximation to how we're going to start this fucking show, because it was fucking bullshit.
Very much so. Quite a lot of it.
Last week.
Quite a lot of it. Yeah, this is going to be a jam-packed episode of the FBS Report. We've got a lot to go over for tonight's show. Both of our teams, for the first time in FBS Report history, have wound up on the losing end this past weekend, so we get to go over all of that as well, along with, of course, the college football playoff semifinal matchups, which, again, you win some, you lose some in the college football world. Yes, both of our teams got their ass beat over this weekend, but if nothing else, we have a college football playoff that I think the whopping majority of the public is going to love. So at least I love it. I don't know about him. I don't know about that, but I do. I love it. I love it. And from my perspective, it's going to be a fun playoff match, set of playoff matches, I would say. So yeah, we'll get into that and a whole lot more on tonight's show. Some more transfer portal news as the portal window is open. We've had some commits over this past weekend. We'll get into all that and a whole lot more. We've had some commits today, actually. But if you're not part of the Indiana or Texas Tech fan base, there probably isn't a lot of news for you. Besides that, though, yeah, great weekend, great week overall for both of those squads. Yeah, but yeah, we'll get into that, everything else, all of it in between here on the FBS Report. First off, shout out to Rand Gavs getting us started off with a $10 super chat. Says, damn, boys, it's been that type of week, huh? At least you're not Alabama, forced to bend over to the Hoosiers. Also, anyone seen Daniel Tosh's, Tosh.0, new Lane Kiffin skit on YouTube? Funny as hell.
Oh, shit. Daniel Tosh is making fun of Lane Kiffin on YouTube? I need to watch that. I used to fucking love his show back when I was in high school.
Believe it or not, my introduction to him was when he did that skit on the back and forth skit with Stingray, the Mississippi State guy.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, no, I had him on my show at one point. Great guy.
Oh, hell yeah.
Crazy stuff. Hanafuda, thank you very much for the 10, says, just remember, Squid, UNLV finishes the season with a better record than Tennessee. We were both warm and bad this season, but you were obviously warmer and worse. Well, first of all, in honor of that $10 super chat, I will put this up on the screen. Development.
I think everything about this stream needs development, Squid.
Great guy. But yeah, no, if the silver lining for your season is that you are better than Tennessee, then obviously you need some work, because Tennessee is a perennially terrible program. And if the silver lining is that you're better than them, you're doing it wrong. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, thank you very much for the 10. Genosis with the 2. Thank you very much. Says Ohio State, Kirby Miles, Texas Tech, and Bama pack. One of those is not like the other. I will say that. But thank you very much for the
Yeah.
two. Yeah. So a lot to go through. Where in the hell do we begin? In all honesty.
Honestly, let's save our bullshit and fuckery for the end here.
Yeah, you know what? Let's go over some of the
we'll
transfer
save, I guess, what they
like
think
that.
would be the best for last. So,
Not for last, but for somewhere in between.
I
think it would be better off to save the playoff matches after the Music City Bowl.
Sure. I just wanted to
Overall
avoid it as long as possible.
Oh, no, yeah, best to rip the Band-Aid off as soon as possible. We're going to do neither because we're going to go over some transfer portal news. Of course, we had a lot of portal stuff happen over this past week as the window is open. A lot of players, of course, left their school for another one, and a lot of them are thrown up in the air. But if you're an Indiana or Texas Tech fan, it has been a hell of a week for you, as you guys already know your quarterbacks for the next season. Josh Hoover from TCU, I thought he was going to go to Knoxville. Turns out, as per the usual, Heupel is sitting on his ass currently in bum shit Tennessee over this past weekend. So guess what? Guess where he went instead? He's going off to Indiana. Josh Hoover, the next great quarterback under Kirk Cignetti and the Indiana Hoosiers.
I mean, at this point, can you blame him? Like, genuinely getting a place as the potential starting quarterback, because I mean, they're obviously going to decide who it's going to be, but I mean, it's going to be Josh Hoover for sure. To take an unknown like from Fernando Mendoza and make him a Heisman, I mean, getting a chance to go play for Indiana is kind of like winning the golden ticket right now, because Kirk Cignetti is, without a doubt, he is vying to be college football's next Nick Saban, I think, considering the way everybody keeps comparing the way he beat Alabama. It was just like Nick Saban coached a different team and then beat the shit out of Alabama, which we'll get more into that here in a minute. But like, who the fuck? Great for Josh Hoover, really great for Indiana. You're getting a nice, true, tested quarterback who is in his peak right now, who's going to go play for a really good football team. I'm just going to be curious to see what weapons they're going to have come next season for them to complement, on top of, having a fairly solid running core and a good offensive line.
Yeah, no kidding. So this is what I said during my Indiana-Alabama stream. We're watching Kirk Cignetti do all of this with a group of majority transfers and not really much of a recruiting class. Just wait to see what happens until that man gets a class of recruits that he built up from the ground up. What's that going to turn into? I don't know.
It's going to turn into the fucking Death Star of college
literally
football. Like, we're going to go back to Alabama when they were winning back-to-back national championships. I feel like only it's going to be Indiana form. Like, I heard somebody say like it's a team full of 3 stars beating the shit out of a bunch of 5 stars. Like, number one, I don't know if all those guys really were 5 stars, but because especially number 2, they didn't have the 5-star mentality. Mm-hmm. And again, we keep edging that game as we talk about this fucking team. Shut the fuck up. Let's get on to the next one.
Yeah, no, I will say this and then we can move on. Yeah, the thing is now with parity in college football, as we've seen all too much with the way the playoffs are set up now, is the threshold between who's better and who's worse is going to come down to coaching. And Kirk Cignetti knows a hell of a lot about that from the looks of it. So from this point onward, yeah, it's looking really, really good. All right. Anyway, the other big quarterback commit that we've had a few other quarterback commits, but the other big one, and everybody knew this was going to happen. It's like the saying, the sky is blue tomorrow. Brendan Sorsby, he's going off to Texas Tech, and they've agreed to an NIL deal around $5 million for the 2026 season. Yeah, I don't know where the Red Raiders got all this money from, but wherever it came from, at least they're choosing to spend it now. Better late than never.
I know exactly where they got that money from, Squid. Oil. Oil. They are. That's the one thing that Texas schools have a lot of. Rich-ass donors with a lot of fucking oil money. Ask SMU how that went a year ago when they made the playoffs themselves. And once the NIL became a thing and the transfer portal became a thing, how they were able to open up checkbooks like it was 1980s all over again. Yeah, oil. Literally oil. That's it. Well, that and the fact that I think, didn't Jerry Jones also have ties to that school?
Oh, yeah. Jerry Jones is the deal breaker there. Yeah.
he's a big financial benefactor. I thought I saw his name on the fucking field, if I remember correctly.
Mm-hmm. Could potentially so. Potentially so. I don't know. We'll see. All right, some more news for you. Here's one for you. Auburn has we thought they were going to have a quarterback for this season, but as far as I can tell, it doesn't seem to be the case. They just lost a 5-star quarterback, Deuce Knight, to the transfer portal. Of course, the news around him planning to enter the transfer portal came before the year ended back on December 30th, but now he has officially entered the transfer portal, and apparently there's an SEC school emerging as the top contender. So we'll keep an eye on that.
I mean, can you blame him? I mean, Auburn's been a fucking train wreck. I know Alex Golish is, gonna hopefully turn everything around for the Tigers in the near future. But right now, I mean, there's pretty good odds that he's going to get a lot of guys from South Florida to come over. Did Byron Brown declare where he was going yet? Because I'm fairly confident
he's going to go there.
I can't imagine him going anywhere else, considering what he did with USF last season. It would be, I don't know if he'll win a lot of games in SEC play. I don't know if that bullshit works in the SEC, and he thinks he's suddenly going to be Cam Newton on 2.0. But I don't see where else he's going to go. So
he could go elsewhere, but that's the popular pick. Besides, he's going with this coach. I think that's what we're looking at. There's only one thing more predictable in that, which we haven't touched on yet, but there's literally only one more thing predictable than that. More predictable is what I would say. And of course, the news around that is around our good buddy Rocco Purdy from Iowa State. Guess what? He goes along with basically the entirety of his team, his coaches, recruiting class, and whatever else, all the way from Iowa State to Penn State. He is signed with the Nittany Lions, and he will be back under Matt Campbell for 2026, but this time with the Nittany Lions at Happy Valley. Along with him, not just him, but also their main running back, Mr. Chris Hansen, Carson Hansen. Also going to Penn State.
That I didn't know about the running back bit, but I do know about Rocco Becht, and I'm genuinely not surprised. Number one, and also you basically just did a de facto relocation of the Iowa State Cyclones to Happy Valley by moving Rocco Becht and a bunch of other people over there. You're basically going to have Iowa State in the Big Ten for the playing in place of the Penn State Nittany Lions, since they apparently don't fucking exist anymore. You might as well change their colors to be red and gold and get a fucking bird in the end zone as the mascot, because I don't. It's the times of college football, man. The time of college football. I get why Becht probably wants to follow his head coach from Iowa State over there. It's going to be a big step up, though, compared to what they were doing in the Big 12. So the competition is going to be more fierce. The only benefit is they don't have to play Ohio State. So
that's true. Rotisserie with the 2 says Auburn going on year 3 being 3rd place in Alabama. That
Wait, who's 2nd place?
I think he's saying Jacksonville State, because that.
Oh shit, he's right.
It might be 4th though, because Troy.
Well, Jacksonville State, didn't they win the? No, didn't they win?
They were runner-up though. They lost.
Oh, well, Troy got their asses smacked by James Madison, so it's not much better. It's a tie.
Yeah, but how would Auburn fare against James Madison, you think?
Oh, they get smoked.
Right. See my point. Yeah.
They get.
Right.
We know what happened with UCF and Auburn once. It would just be that again.
No kidding. All right. Well, here's another big news for you. At some point you start to feel bad for this fan base, because they surrounded their entire life energy around this one individual. Oh, no. Because, well, before this, they didn't have any actual quarterback they could rely on. Here's the thing. Mark Stoops finally had a quarterback that he brought up who was a freshman and then came up. He didn't get some super senior out of the portal this time. Cutter Boley actually had some worth. Well, guess what? He hit the transfer portal and he's committed to Arizona State. This wasn't a shocker to anybody. Now, what they're banking on is now that Sam Leavitt's in the portal, that he's going to do the opposite and go from Arizona State to Kentucky. And if Sam Leavitt does that, then now you have a quarterback. But that's a big if. Very, very big if. So we'll see. We'll keep an eye on that.
Yes, sir, we will.
James Dillinghast, appreciate being a member for 1 month. says Riff Ram Bazoo, the Fall Guys stuff. Screw you, USC and Red Raiders.
I thought it said say screw you, USC and Red for a second. Be like, what the fuck me? What fuck me for what?
You know for what? Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, that was a Lincoln Riley masterclass at the end of that ball game right there.
Oh yeah. Oh,
letting up a third and long on a
TCU has a funny thing for absolutely destroying former Pac-10 team hopes in the Alamo Bowl.
I mean, it's less of that, more of just like that. That was literally the best. That was the most Lincoln Riley thing I've ever seen.
I know.
Backed up on a third and long, they throw a screen and it goes the entire rest of the way to the end zone for a touchdown. And the funny part about it is they were out of field goal range.
Yeah.
If you stopped them right there, you probably would have won the game. All you had to do was make one tackle and the game was over. But they literally did the old Josh Heupel trademark. Ooh, I'm going to scoop you by the legs. Uh-oh, there he goes. I mean, like 7 guys are around this dude, and not one of them made the tackle. Crazy how that works.
Indeed. I mean, man, I just love watching the fucking Alamo Bowl, to be honest. I try to watch it when I can every year. I didn't get a chance to watch it live this year, but that's always such a fun fucking bowl game, no matter who's playing in it. Because it's like just below that level of people calling it like prestigious. It's not quite Pop-Tarts Bowl or that level in like the top non-New Year's 6 bowl games, but it's just barely there, and it's had some pretty fun games over the years. Deserves a lot more respect, I'd say. So does TCU. USC can go fuck themselves, though. Enjoy playing in SoFi Stadium for your home games for the Olympics.
Yeah, no kidding.
That's gonna be in LA 28. They gotta convert. They gotta raise the field in the Memorial Stadium temporarily, or the Memorial Coliseum. So because of the massive construction from that, USC's got to play all their home games in SoFi, the traveling fan capital of football, in 28. Poor bastards. I don't feel bad for them at all.
Yeah, really. James Stillinghast with the 5. Thank you very much. Says, here's a joke, Squiddy. 3rd and 20 at a Lincoln Riley defense. Also, you have a new soundbite to add to your video intros. That was hilarious. You must be talking about the one from the Rose Bowl. It's got a red, white, and boner.
You know what? Where is my clip? Ah, here it is.
What the f*** was that?
You don't get it, but it's funny. Okay, well, this news actually dropped midway through the show, or like right before the show began, so we didn't have time to read up on it, but this just dropped. NC State transfer Hollywood Smothers. He's made his decision. He's committed to Alabama. Now, that is a great pickup for the Crimson Tide.
Yes.
I will say that for certain. He is a very underlooked running back in the portal. Good pickup for the Tide.
Yeah, that's a big one for them. They need more than anything this upcoming offseason, learn how to run the ball again. They have to learn how to establish a ground game next year, because if they don't and they come out with this one-dimensional bullshit again, doesn't matter how good your quarterback is, doesn't matter if you got fucking what's his name, Ryan Williams as wide receiver, you're going to end up getting your asses caked in a fucking bowl game if the committee thinks they have enough pity to send you there again. We really got to get into that game here in a little bit. I know we got to get through these transfers, but man, there's a lot we could say about that. We're going to be there for a while, I think. I'm actually going to bring up one as well, because this just dropped from Pete Nakos just a few minutes after that one came out. Bryce Underwood is staying at the University of Michigan. Believe it or not, he is not going to jump ship. That just dropped from Pete Nakos about 20 minutes ago, that he will return next season with their new head coach. So I kind of thought he was going to bolt, I'm not going to lie.
Big loss for Lane Kiffin and company. If there was anywhere that he was going to bail, that would have been my guess.
Honestly, yeah. I kind of figured he was going to bail for the Lane train, or maybe Indiana would have been able to kind of sneak him away in the middle of the night or something like that. But No, he's going to hang out in Ann Arbor for another year. So, I mean, hey, good for the Wolverines. You didn't shit the bed completely after taking a cannonball right to the balls. So,
yeah, right.
Well done.
Woo! Here's another one for you. And this is one that you SEC fans are very familiar with. AJ Swan. If you were a Vanderbilt fan, you probably remember that name. He was at Vandy, then he went to LSU as a backup. Spent a year at Appalachian State. Guess what? He's back in the SEC, this time with the Cowbell College. Ding, 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 ding. He's with Mississippi State, and my guess is he'll probably be the starter. We'll keep an eye on that one, but yeah, not a bad pickup for him.
Yeah, I would imagine he will probably wind up being the starter almost immediately.
Mm-hmm. Next up,
a lot of work to do.
Oh yeah, no kidding. Next up on the list, defensive lineman Jaheim Otis, big time guy from Alabama. He was at Colorado for a year. Guess what? He's hit the portal again, and this time he's back in the SEC as well. This time he has joined the Rebels, the Land Sharks of Ole Miss. It turns out a lot of the big name transfers are attracted to teams that win. Who would have thought?
Imagine that.
Funny how that works.
Yeah, it's like birds being attracted to shit on cars.
Fairly accurate. Fairly accurate. Now, here's one I think a lot of people need to keep their eyes on. This is an underrated pickup right here. Alonzo Barnett. He had a really successful run at James Madison. Of course, he hit the portal as well as the entire rest of James Madison's starters. But he is signed and committed to the University of Central Florida. So he'll be joining UCF over in their staff. Scott Frost with another really good quarterback. He might make some work in the Big 12 next year. If you're looking for a Houston to rise in that conference for next season, Barnett might lead UCF to that point. I don't know.
I mean, Scott Frost did some pretty decent work this year with the Knights. No, they didn't make a bowl game, but they did a hell of a lot better than they did the year before with the Gus Bus being on fire. I think that this is a hell of a pickup for them. They could genuinely be able to scrape together a few more conference wins, make a bowl game, kind of like what, they've been struggling since they joined the Big 12, like Cincinnati, but Cincinnati finally got their shit together this past year and, made the Liberty Bowl and played in a tough loss to Navy. UCF, they're around the edge. Them and West Virginia. Keep an eye on West Virginia. They've had a lot of fairly solid, decent pickups over the last couple of days. That's what I'm hearing. I haven't followed any big names. No one that really jumps off the charts, but it's. My feed's been lit up with all the transfer portal news the last 2 days. I'm trying to keep up with all of it, and it's been tough. But I just know that West Virginia, UCF, who the fuck knows? It could be something.
Could be. I don't know. Anyway, that's all the portal news that we've got for this show.
I got one more thing to add.
Yeah, go
Sorry,
ahead.
I don't mean to cut you off.
It better be important.
Well, it could be for my channel at least.
Okay.
There is a lot of smoke that I'm seeing online that DJ Lagway, the Florida Gator, is going to Florida State. He apparently had a really good visit in Tallahassee earlier today. And I don't know if he would be a good answer for the Seminoles, but could you imagine the shit show that would be if he shows up at Florida State and they just do awful all over again?
It would be hilarious. It would be one of the greatest moments of all time in recent college football.
Yeah, I mean, as the joke Burns would be fucking cooking with absolute propane and propane accessories the entire season if that happens. Oh, I can't wait. I can't fucking wait. Come on, DJ. Do it, man. Do it for the memes. Please. I beg of you.
Do it for the funny. We have to watch the entire state of Florida and football burn.
Well, I mean, there's one part of Florida that's pretty happy right now, I think. Unfortunately.
Very tiny part of Florida, but yeah, I guess it counts.
Yeah.
Okay, well, you ready to get into some of these games, Red? Don't worry, we won't start with you bums. All right? We won't start with you bums. That's exactly my point, dumbass. You know where I'm going.
Don't call me dumbass.
All right. Well, it's the first game on the list anyway, since we literally talked about this one right before I left. last Tuesday to go watch it, unfortunately. Yeah, this was awful. This was a bucket load of ass is what this was. Now, I will say this before I get into anything about the game. I do have, and I mentioned this before in the stream that I did, but I do have a newfound respect for the Fighting Illini fans. I don't know. I didn't expect all that much, even when I was smack dab, because let me explain the story around this. So I told you guys that the tickets that I got for me and my old buddy from the Vol Star podcast, Lucas Sharp, we both went to the game together. And I couldn't figure out why the tickets are so cheap as compared to all the others, because you look around the area and you're talking about 400, you know, the talent fee, you know what it does. 400 here, 400, 350, all this. But then there were two that were nicely packed at the 35-yard line for only 200. And I was like, oh, this is a deal. I didn't take into consideration where that was placed and what reason that was. That's why we talk about the talent fee, because that doesn't apply for Illinois. So we get there, get in there in my mustard costume, and me and Lucas are standing smack dab right in the middle of the Fighting Illini fan base, the entire section. So yeah, we caught a lot of hell. We gave it right back to them, of course, every time we'd score. But the one with the last laugh was, of course, the Fighting Illini fans. And I don't know why you're laughing there from the peanut gallery. Imagine standing in the middle of Miami fans and they got that pick six on you. Okay.
Hey, listen.
Blah, 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 blah. I don't want to hear
I'm just going to say real quick before you continue, I'm not stupid enough to not look up where the visitor section is. I knew when me and Mo went to the Purdue Indiana game, we specifically sought out where the Hoosiers were sitting, because she told me, and I quote, "I will go to fucking jail if I have to sit next to Purdue fans." And I said, "Okay, well, I'm not paying for that bailout money, so we're gonna go here." Where's the visitor section? Okay, right here. Here you go, honey. It's only in the 6th row. It's great seats. Come on. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, first off, the buddy Nathan with the 5, thank you, good sir, says, just a reminder that half of the SEC's wins this postseason are versus themselves. Oh, yeah, the different leagues narrative crashed and burned over this one. And all the SEC hate boners are... you get the idea. I'm not gonna say it, but you get the idea. All the SEC haters, they're getting a real good kick out of this season. I'll tell you that much. And this is further proof of that. Now, let me talk about the game. Well, again, let me finish my story about the Illinois fans. Is that being right smack dab in the middle of the opposing fans that you're against, especially when you're talking trash like me and Luke, because we were loud, we were cheering on our team. We didn't care that we were in the middle of the entire fan base, but no, they had a right to give us all kinds of shit for it, and they certainly did, but they were nice. They were respectful. They didn't get personal. They didn't call me slurs like Georgia fans did, because when I was standing in the middle of the Georgia fan section, yeah, some guy asked me, "Hey, are you a Tennessee fan?" Yes. And then he proceeded to call me a bunch of slurs I can't say on YouTube. But that did not happen with the Illinois fans. They were nice. They were kind. In fact, there was a kid that was standing next to me, and he showed up on my Rose Bowl live stream. So shout out to him if you're watching this, buddy. Thank you very much for tuning in to the Tardaria Spectacular. So yeah, all to say, have a newfound respect for the Fighting Illini fans. You guys were awesome to us when we didn't deserve it. So all the love to you. Now about the game, this was a bucket load of shit. This was. And it was less about the fact that it was just Tennessee having a bad day and more just about the macrocosm of what's been this entire season for Tennessee. Because let's just be real here, 8-5 for this team, that was a hell of a record. I'm going to say it. This is a soft team. This was a 5-win team is what we were looking at here. They were not good. Damn. Tennessee was not good at all. We just weren't. But we got bailed out due to the talent fee on various situations like the Mississippi State and Arkansas game when they literally were right there to beat us, and we just talent feed our way to the end of the finish line and won that way. This team was soft all season long. They were soft. They got pushed around by inferior talent. And what you saw here was just a macrocosm of what that came to be. The offensive line was getting pushed around like nobody's business. They got clowned on the entire day long. They wouldn't let Joey Aguilar throw deep down the field. We didn't get one deep throw in throughout the entire ball game. We didn't even attempt it. Instead, we did what we did back in 24 when we were too scared to run our usual offense, and we did a bunch of runs up the middle and bubble screens. It failed miserably towards the end. And let me just say this. For as long as Heupel has been the coach of Tennessee, here's what I'm going to say about Josh Heupel, because this game really, if the Vandy game didn't do it, this absolutely did. It split the fan base into two different extremes where they're either heavily in support of Josh Heupel or you want him gone yesterday. To me, and of course, I'm going to be the one guy, like every other person online, who says that I'm smack dab somewhere in the middle, but that isn't even necessarily true. Here's what I'm going to say about Josh Heupel. He's a great recruiter. He is. He's a fantastic recruiter, in my opinion, because he's had some of the best recruiting classes at Tennessee. Now, I don't know what he's doing with the transfer portal yet. He got Guangdong Gilbert out of there, and he added a bunch of brand new assistant coaches, so I'll give him a lot of credit for that. So he's a good recruiter. He's a great play caller, because a lot of the play calls that were made on offense this season weren't actually from our offensive coordinator, Joey Hazel, but rather from Josh Heupel. And he called some great plays, really good plays even. So he's a great play caller. He's a great recruiter. He's, I'm just going to say it, one of the worst game managers in the country, bar none. He has been getting outclassed in every single game, every single one, even against our FCS opponents. He's been getting outclassed in every single game coaching-wise. It's the reality of the situation. He's been getting out-coached, out-schemed, out-play called, the whole shebang. And it all comes down to the way I've seen our clock management and our game management in total. He's lost us multiple games this season off of clock management. You go back to the Georgia game, the terrible decision to throw in the Alabama game. Go back to situations like those. He's lost us several games for terrible clock management, as well as game management. Because instead of we get the score to go up 28 to whatever it was, 28 to 27 was the score. We had the ball, and it was like 6 minutes left. So instead of trying to run the clock out on offense and leaving it up to them or letting them score so that your offense has a chance, he chooses to burn all of our timeouts when our defense is still on the field. The defense that he knows better than anybody has been letting us down the majority of the season. The majority of the season. In most cases, the defense has let us down in every single capacity, whether or not Tim Banks had anything to do with it or not. And they let us down today. They let us down in the Music City Bowl. It was another awful management of clock, management of game. Why in the world would you leave it up to your defense when you know they can't stop a nosebleed, Heupel? And then you let them go down the field anyway. You burn all your timeouts instead of letting them score and giving your offense a chance to go down the field and score, which the offense hasn't even been doing that bad. You give them a few shots and they got something going for them. Ran the ball pretty fine all day long. Aguilar, when you give him a chance, he was throwing pretty good. I mean, you could have given the offense a chance to go down and win the game. Could have given Joey Aguilar a happy note to finish with on the way out of his college career. Instead, what you did was you let the defense try and win the game for you. And once again, just like every other time the defense has been on the field in a clutch situation, guess what they did? They let you down. I mean, it feels like we know more about our own team than the coaches do. And that's absolutely an insane thing to say, but it certainly does feel that way. And now here we are. Year 5 is over and done with, and we're right back to where we started. Losing off a game-winning field goal in the Music City Bowl. Deja vu, I guess. So here's where I stand. Heupel ain't it. I'm going to say it. He's not it. He's not the guy. You give him a bunch of... to me, you know what he is? I'm going to be honest. To me, he's Ed Orgeron. He is a guy that can hype up his players, get them going, and then if you've got the right talent around them, the right coaching staff around them, you can lead them to a championship. But hell, we haven't even been seeing that. This is a soft football program. We're just soft. We looked unmotivated. We didn't even look like we wanted to win that game. It's absolutely insane to me. So... yeah, all that to say, Heupel, in my opinion, Josh Heupel is not the guy to lead us to a championship. I think we have seen the ceiling of what he can do at Tennessee is get us to a New Year's 6, get us to a playoff run, but he'll be a first round elimination every single time, because the moment he gets up against other elite competition with talent on the level of ours, just gets pushed around all day long. And Illinois, they don't even have talent on our level, but they still pushed us around all day long. So at this point, there's no reason for me to say fire Josh Heupel, because I know it's not going to happen. He's done too much with this program to be fired after, another bad season. But I think at this point, everybody in the fan base knows it. We need to see something next season. And he's done a bunch of good moves and a bunch of good guys. One of them, Red could tell me about, the assistant coach from Ohio State, who's now our corners coach. So he's made some moves. The Jim Knowles hire, if you give him the right pieces on defense, I've got a feeling that he'll be able to do more than whatever Tim Banks was doing, sleeping in the press box or whatever the hell he was doing. Who the hell knows? Could have been beating off for all I care. But point stands, we've got to see results next season, because we're not paying all this money to watch you lose to Vanderbilt and get beat down by Illinois in some second, third rate bowl game that nobody cares about. So need to see action next year, Heupel. I think if you have another bad dud of a season next year, I think it's going to be curtains for you. But we're bound to see. We're bound to find out in due time. Anyway, everybody can laugh at us because we deserve it. We deserve it. We're not good, so feel free to laugh at Tennessee in any capacity. You all earned it. Y'all earned the right to rag on me and rag on the rest of the Tennessee fans. Because boy, do we stink right now.
Well, it could be worse,
Yeah, speaking of which, Hanafuda, thank you very much for being a member for 1 month. And unlike yours, UNLV's defense developed. Yeah, right. That's why they got their back blown out by Boise State in the championship game, right?
Ooh, ow.
It's the truth. Go back to that championship game. They got their back blown out by Boise State. Did whatever he wanted. And Maddox the Madman hasn't been able to complete a pass all day long. And then all of a sudden he goes up against UNLV's defense, and suddenly, oh, wow, look at that. He's suddenly a competent quarterback again.
The ball, it flies. Oh, wow.
Yeah. I will say this, losing to a 9-4 Illinois, better than losing to a 9-4 Ohio. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah, nope. That's some truth.
Dumb Gamer, thank you very much for the 2, says Billy Napier for Tennessee head coach. #development. Well, wrong head coach for Florida there, but you've got the right idea.
I mean, Billy Napier could definitely use some development. That's for damn sure. That's why he went back to the Sun Belt.
That's exactly right. That's his natural habitat, baby.
He goes back
where he loves
where
it.
he does best.
All right, Ray. Well, you let me
more.
rabble on for however long talking about my team's shortcomings and their failures and whatever else. It's your turn, buddy.
Man, I have to.
Yes, absolutely, you have to. But this was a dud of a day for Ohio State. Besides Julian Saint having 300 yards passing, nothing else really happened. You couldn't run the ball in any capacity. I think Ruben Bain just sacked him again. But yeah, I'll leave it at that. Red, tell us what you think.
I completely didn't even know that Saint had 300 yards of passing. That's how fucking pissed off I was about the whole ordeal. Look, I've had a few days to kind of sit on this and stew about everything that I watched. It all began and ended with, honestly, the big uglies up front. How in the fuck did Bo Jackson, 1,000-yard rusher, completely vanish in the postseason, in both the conference championship and the playoffs? Because it wasn't like, literally, as I was watching the game, in the back of my head, I'm thinking, this is the fucking Big Ten title game all over again. Because it was literally the same shit. We were missing field goals. We were not capitalizing on opportunities that we were getting. We were not pushing and establishing dominance at the line up front. And Sand was getting absolutely blitzkrieged in the backfield. I swear that dude was in the seeing ghosts phase of the game. Like, Miami, props to the Hurricanes. They gave us a Category 5 shitstorm that we could not contain. We could not handle it. We could not deal with it. And I don't even know where the fuck we can even begin here, except just to say, fuck you, Ryan Day. Just fuck you, Ryan Day. This is the buck starts and ends with you. You want to know why? Who was calling the plays on offense? It was Ryan Day. And how did that offense do exactly? Shed itself, cried violently in a corner, and watched as our back-to-back national title hopes slowly faded off into the abyss like Jack Dawson dying at the end of Titanic. Spoilers, by the way. So, listen, I'm not going to make a whole big drama-filled spiel saying that Ryan Day should be fired, because I don't think that he's going to get fired, nor do I think he should be fired. I have a little bit more sense now than I did a year ago. He has won a national title. But I'll tell you what we need to work on. Number one, whatever happened to that legendary defense Matt Patricia built up, I now see why New England was kind of happy to get rid of him. Because he was also in New England right around the same time where they weren't winning championships, if I recall correctly. Maybe an AFC title game, but they were losing in Super Bowls. And I think I just realized why. We can't just keep getting these rental coordinators. Like last year, sure, Chip Kelly worked out fine on offense. It frustrated the fuck out of me at times, but we still won the national title with the pieces we had. I don't think that was the best Ohio State team of all time by any measure. I still think the 2014 Ohio State team would have beaten the shit out of last year's national champions with the talent we had on that team. But if you ask me, I don't think Matt Patricia is also a problem here. What happened was, quite frankly, is we just didn't show the fuck up. Our defense could play so much better than that. I saw them play so much better than that throughout the course of the entire season. I didn't stream a lot of Buckeye games, but I was watching. That defense played way better in 12 games than they did the last two. The championship game, the Big Ten title game, they played well. They played really well. Our offense just didn't show up. This game, defense got absolutely scorched earthed by Carson Beck and Mark Fletcher and Malachi Toney. 3 dudes. 3 fucking dudes. Took Ohio State to the 7th floor and beat the ever-loving shit out of them. CJ Daniels even made an appearance and was absolutely killing us on that night. It's not even like Carson Beck played well either. He was just accurate. He did what he only did what he needed to do, and he wasn't overexposed. Saying through 2 picks. He was overexposed. He was pressured. He was awful. He was terrible. He was very green. Did not look like a Heisman runner-up to me. But the more I thought about it, Squid, the more I thought about this game, the more I kind of realized, you know what? I will admit something. And I never thought I would say this about my Buckeyes, but we were overrated. We were overrated. You want to know why? Who did we beat this season? Who the fuck
Michigan.
did we beat? No. I'm going to say something I've never said.
Let me rephrase it. The talent fee beat Michigan. There you go.
I'm gonna say something I never thought I would say in my life, but that wasn't good enough. First Michigan win in 5 years, nearly 6 years, over 2,000 days. We played fine. We, beat up a pretty mediocre Michigan team that lost to Texas. We barely beat Texas on our own home field. If that was played in Austin, we would have lost to a Texas team that we all saw as being absolutely not ready for the playoff run that they all thought they were going to get. And then after that, we didn't play anybody remotely difficult until Indiana in the championship game. Regular season, our toughest ranked opponent, I think, was Illinois. and that's it.
Hey, Illinois is a good team.
I mean, hey, at least we beat Illinois. That's the only thing I got to. That's the only leg up I have
Illinois
on
is a
you
good
right
team.
now.
Illinois is a good team. Move on.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Illinois is a really damn good team. I mean, but you saw what we did against Illinois, and you think, okay, solid win. Did you see what the fuck Indiana did to Illinois? Do you remember that absolute
Mickey Mouse don't count?
The absolute brutalization Illinois got put through against Indiana. And yet we were the number 1 team in the nation. We cannot play these cupcake schedules if we're actually going to know how good of a fucking team we really are. We need to have at least one tough team each season to get a real good gauge. And you can't really plan those things out. I get it. But if I see a season in the future where we don't play any Power 4 opponents in the non-cons, I'm not really going to know who the fuck we're playing until we play a team that's actually highly ranked and proven. Mm-hmm. That's the big word there, proven. I'm not going to go and hang my hat on the fact that we beat Texas anymore. Okay, we beat the Longhorns. They went 8-4.
To be fair, though, they were ranked number 1 in that game.
Who the fuck cares?
Nobody,
but preseason.
Yeah, but you're talking about scheduling, so you can't really schedule a team that's really you can't predict how a team is going to do.
I know. It's so much easier to say in hindsight that we cannot that we should have scheduled more tough opponents. Texas should have been the tough opponent, but the problem is that it was the only one that was tough. If that was one of like 2 or 3 games we got that was against tough teams, I wouldn't say shit because we would have lost at least one of those by now, and I would know that's kind of what we expected. The signs were there. The signs were fucking there, and we got embarrassed in the same field that we got embarrassed by fucking Mizzou 2 years ago, in similar manner too. Not as much scoring. More scoring than that game, but I remember that game very well. It was the first game I ever live streamed. And it brought back some serious PTSD of mine. So, congrats to Miami. You did it. You done got your revenge for 2002. I cannot and I will refuse to completely break down and start breaking shit because we did win the Natty last year. I could be pissed off that we lost. I could be upset that we lost. But I can also respect the fact that Miami on that given day was the better team. And Miami, you are the better team this time. Maybe we'll catch each other down the road. So, yeah, I'm reading the chat. I see what some of you guys are saying. Like, I get it. Coping Ohio State fan law, whatever.
Yeah, they're going to laugh at you. Same as they laugh at me. That's why there's so many people here. We're both lost.
And that's fine. Laugh at us. We deserve it for being in such shitty fan bases because I know there's a lot of us that are toxic. Mm-hmm. And I get it. At least we could say we're a lot more like Illinois fans than we are the shitty Ohio State or the shitty Tennessee fans.
That's true. That is true.
Because at least they showed some class. They're classy.
That is very true. Josh Elander, 2024 champs with the 5 says, once Ohio State fires Ryan Day, can UT have him to replace Heupel? I mean, if we did fire Heupel next year, I want to be against bringing on Ryan Day. But
Ohio State's not going to fire Ryan Day anytime soon. He won a national.
Yeah, no, we have to outbuy him from you, and I don't think.
Yeah, you would have to buy his ass out, and Ohio State's pockets are kind of deep.
Yeah, but we got everybody's got the talent fee now. Dumb Gamers appreciate the 2 says, if only Ohio State knew that they were getting on the 7th floor. Great song.
That was terrible.
Yeah, you wish. The buddy Nathan with the 5 says, Illinois lost to my Wisconsin Badgers. No, they aren't. Yeah, that's true. I did forget.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of forgot for a brief minute that the Fighting Illini got beat by Wisconsin.
Wisconsin kind of had a little bit of a resurgence there late in the season where the last couple of games, they caught some life.
It was less of that, more of just Burt Bielema beating himself like he does every single year.
Well, I mean, give him some
credit. He does it. He does it at least once a year. He beats himself.
Didn't Wisconsin also pick up a quarterback in the transfer portal?
Yeah. I think it was Leakin Kindholtz. Or
Yeah.
no. I take it back.
Oh.
No. It wasn't him. It was Old Dominion's quarterback. Yeah.
Yes, that fucker. Yeah, the next
Yeah.
victim in the quarterback Russian roulette they've been playing up there for the last couple of years. Good God.
Mhm.
You're next on the Wisconsin Meat Grinder. Here's hoping you escape with less holes than your fucking cheese.
Psh, daggum. Man, wouldn't it be crazy if they had an offensive resurgence? I don't know. We'll see.
Best thing
We'll
they can do is
see.
get a strong running
The
back.
Luke Fickell coaching tenure over there is basically on death row at this point.
Well,
So
I mean, the athletic department admitted that they were partially at fault for not investing in more high-profile talent. So it's not all his fault, right?
right, but that
Right.
or they're using that as a way to say we don't actually have the money to fire him, so we're just going to get away with it. I think that's more of what happened. Anyway, let's talk about some of these other playoff games. Now that we've gotten through our session of ragging on our own teams, we can go ahead and rag on somebody else's teams. Like, let's laugh at Texas Tech for a little while. You know, at least our team scored one every so once. Guess what? Texas Tech is still a playoff virgin because, like most, they could not score in the playoffs. Went down 23-0 to the Oregon Ducks. And if you knew anything about how Texas Tech played offensively, this wasn't much of a surprise. Now, it was, but look, it was a surprise in the sense that they were shut out. It's almost impossible to predict a shutout. You never know when it's actually going to happen. But to see it happen to them isn't the most surprising thing ever, because the Red Raiders were a defensively heavy team for the first time in forever.
Mhm.
And so their offense, while it wasn't the worst in the country, it was lackluster, all things being said. Barrett Morton was not a playoff caliber quarterback. I'm sure the Red Raider fans can agree with me on that. A lot of your productivity on offense came through the run game and Jacoby Williams and Cameron Dickey, but even they couldn't do much of anything once they got into the red zone position. Really, it was all a matter of whether or not they could actually kick some field goals, and even then they couldn't do that. They had absolutely nothing going for them, and Barrett Morton just didn't have it. And so I would have said, you know, bring in somebody like Will Hammond or something like that, but that wasn't an option either because he tore his ACL, so he wasn't available. And then every other quarterback they had on the roster suddenly vanished overnight as well. So the only option they had was Barrett Morton, or for whatever reason, do some trickery like with Jacoby Williams and the Wildcat or something like that. But none of it ever went well. Oregon's defense was locked down the entire night. They just submerged them in endless green wrath. And that's all it really came down to.
I was kind of surprised, honestly, to see this result. I was surprised to see just how powerful Oregon's defense came out, because I kind of figured this game was going to come down to, like, can Oregon beat Texas Tech's defense? Can their offense get around a really good defense against Texas Tech? Because we remember the Indiana game, right? Indiana, one of the top defenses in the country. First half, Oregon came out. They played pretty well. Second half, vanished from the face of the earth. This game, I wouldn't say start giving Oregon all the damn compliments, because, yeah, 23-0, it looks like an impressive blowout. But look deeper at this. Dante Moore, no touchdowns and an interception, a 62 QBR overall. Their best rusher, Jordan Davidson, 42 yards. Noah Winnington, 31 yards. Davidson only got 2 touchdowns because Texas Tech fucked the ball in really close range to the goal line and fumbled it. Jamari Johnson, Malik Benson, they did what they had to do, what they needed to do, but they never saw the end zone. Oregon only got 2 touchdowns, and it was because of Texas Tech giving them gimmies. The defense, I think, played pretty well for Tech. About as well as you would expect. For an offense for Texas Tech that scored in upwards of 40 points per game, Texas Tech's defense did enough to win this ball game. You're not going to hold a team as powerful as the Oregon Ducks to 0. It just isn't going to fucking happen. But the defense did enough. The offense was an absolute critical failure. Like Chernobyl nuclear reactor critical failure here. The 4 fumbles. It's 4 fumbles, right? Or am I wrong? How many fumbles was there? 4? Yeah.
a lot. But yeah,
I'm sorry.
I think it was 4. They only had 2 fumbles, but they had 4 total
turnovers. So 2 fumbles, 2 interceptions, some missed field goals. Like that is the only explanation I have is they just crumbled under the lights, which is so surprising to see considering that they had just won the Big 12 championship in Jerry World in dominating fashion against BYU a couple of weeks ago. And BYU, I mean, shout out to the Mormons. They played fairly well in the Pop-Tarts Bowl against Georgia Tech, and they did all right. They won their bowl game. Tech, on the other hand, I mean, they just did nothing. I genuinely kept on looking up for my phone as I was trying to watch this game. Like, what the fuck am I even watching here? This offense just can't move. It can't go anywhere. It's like it's stuck in the mud. And they had the talent. Like, even if Baron Morton's mediocre and lackluster at best, I mean, I go back to Ohio State because last year, Will Howard wasn't the greatest quarterback of all time. He was serviceable. He did his job. He did it well. Baron Morton, he's a serviceable quarterback. He can get the ball where it needs to go and make some plays.
Okay, let's stop that for a second because let's not forget Texas Tech does not have a Jeremiah Smith.
You are correct, and that might be where they fail because, I mean, give props to Terrence Carter Jr., 72 yards receiving here. I mean, he did all he could. Reggie Virgil did all he could, but they didn't see the end zone either, and they couldn't make any big plays. The offensive line couldn't stop the Oregon rushing attack. Baron Morton was scared shitless throughout the game. I mean, I'd say it's a waste, but you did win the Big 12 championship and your first outright conference title since World War II. So if you're in Lubbock, you're probably disappointed about the result, but you're probably looking around like, you know what? All things considered, it was a good year. So
yeah, they're absolutely the outlier, the losers here, because whenever of the 4 losers, big losers that we had, they were absolutely the outlier because the other 3, it was a failure. Most would consider it a failure of a season the way they went down. For Texas Tech, this was their best season in program history, winning the Big 12 for the first time in their program's history, on top of making the playoffs as with a bye. Yeah, this was their best year of all time. It didn't go the way they wanted it to, but they were absolutely the outlier here. All right, Hannah Fuda, thank you very much for the 5. Says, I'll shut up after this. The Scarlet and Gray, Ohio State UNLV Alliance suffers in silence. You know what we need.
What do we need?
Hell if I know. Need something.
I mean, UNLV and Ohio State's needs are completely different. UNLV needs everything.
Yeah, right.
They need everything. Ohio State just needs a better offensive line and Sayan to develop a little bit more, and I think we'll be okay after that.
Yeah, I agree. Gollum, thank you very much for the 5. Says, just got on. Hope you guys are doing well. We are doing well. Thank you very much. Just finished riffing and rewatching a terrible movie, A Dragon Ball Evolution. Oh, dear Lord. I'd rather watch Purdue football.
I'm not an anime guy, so I wouldn't know how bad that is. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, just picture Purdue football in movie format, and there you go.
That's a war crime.
Yeah, right. Viper Technician with the 2, thank you very much, says, out with the fractured Morton, in with the Sorsby. Let's hope he doesn't tear his ACL, because that seemed to sort of derail whatever playoff hopes that the Red Raiders had. But I've got hopes for Texas Tech next year. I think they'll be in a good position.
They're here to stay
as well. Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah,
but you never know with the Big 12.
Well, yeah, we thought that Arizona State was here to stay, and they had a regression this past season. So, I don't know.
Leif Opstad, very much for the 269. Who's that coming off the track? It's a bucket load of shit who sucks big balls. All right. Yeah, we'll get on them in just a minute. But first,
giant boop that went up my ass.
Hold on. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
It was covered in orange and green.
Where is it?
And those hurricanes were mean. Bucks. Go Bucks. OH. Clown show. Wrong game.
Wrong game. I just wanted to remind him of the good times before we got into the fun part. Don't worry. That was intentional.
Was it?
Yeah, I wanted to remind him of the fun times.
Oh, the fun times. You remember a week ago?
Oh my goodness.
You present, but you ain't really there.
Just like them. Alabama was present, but they weren't really there. Boy, did they.
You stink!
All right, now we're overdoing it. All right, well, boy, did Alabama take a whooping or what? This was awful. If you're an Alabama fan, you guys got absolutely obliterated by Indiana of all programs. This is how you know we're seeing a college football renaissance. The best college football program in history in the FBS got this horrifically outclassed by statistically the worst FBS program in the country. Indiana, now 14-0, takes Alabama to the metaphorical woodshed, 38-3, just an outright domination. There was no other way of putting it. Bama couldn't get anything going. The only time Bama could actually get something going on offense was when they benched Ty Simpson in favor of Austin Mack. Past that point, there literally wasn't anything going for him in no capacity whatsoever. Meanwhile, they were just driving down the field effortlessly, going down it, just obliterating them. And then for added measure, they even put in Alberto Mendoza at the end there. They put in Mendoza Jr. just to rub it a little bit more soft. And not until the game was already over did Kirk Cignetti even slap a smile on his face. At no other point did he do that. So all that to say, this was an ass whooping of a lifetime. No really other good way to put it. Definitely puts a stain on what's otherwise been a successful year for Alabama, all things considered. But yeah, no. Indiana, man, they are an absolute monster. I don't know what we unsealed, but boy, are they good or what.
Let me paint a picture for you guys, just so we're on the same page about how, because some people may be just casuals, and I don't think that people that watch the show are actually casuals, but I mean, I don't know who watches these replays. If you're a casual, let me paint it out for you. I think we all know just how big the disparity between these two teams are in terms of history and legacy. Alabama, one of the great blue bloods of the sport, dating all the way back to the at least the 1940s and 50s, with legends like Bear Bryant, Derrick Henry, fucking Nick Saban, leading them to multiple national championships. Kings of the South. You think Southern college football, you think Alabama. Now, what do you think of when you think Indiana? Up until last week, at least. You think candy stripe, basketball warm-up jumpers, and that one fucking movie they made about them in the 80s. And a pretty good basketball team. Ladies and gentlemen, the game has indeed changed. Because for the first time that I can remember, for the first time in my life, and the first time of many people's lives that are watching college football right now, Indiana is a better football team than Notre Dame, than Ohio State, and yes, than Alabama. Number one, undisputed in the nation, competing in the semifinals of the college football playoff. And no, it was not a fluke. This is a turbocharged, absolute one-sided ass whooping from start to finish. One team on the rise, another team still living in the past. And boy, did it show badly here. I watched this game with Mo, my Hoosier girlfriend, and she was just jumping for joy. And it made me happy to see. But even I was jumping off the couch seeing some of the plays these fucking Hoosiers were making against Alabama. That first touchdown pass into the end zone, perfectly thrown ball by Mendoza. Dude had absolutely none of the Heisman curse on him. Came out looked like a fucking $1 million. Absolutely controlled the ball from the line of scrimmage with that offensive line. And everyone was worried about the Indiana defense because one of their top defensive players was hurt coming into this game and, tragic injury at the end of the Big Ten title game. You don't even know he's gone. They completely shut down Ty Simpson and the rest of that Alabama offense. They couldn't get shit going all night. And it didn't help that Alabama realized they were on the losing end of this thing and needed to try to do something with some shock plays, including what's going to be probably one of the most infamous fourth down calls in Alabama history, where they don't convert it, and that camera immediately pans to Kurt Signetti, giving them the meanest mug to ever mug in college football. The disappointed dad look, the I cannot believe you are this fucking stupid to think you could try that bullshit with me look. He proceeded to take the fucking whip and absolutely brutalize, destroy, eviscerate the Alabama Crimson Tide to the point where it made literally every single analyst in the college football media eat plates and plates and plates of shit. And we all loved watching them eat it. I cannot tell you the joy I felt the day after that game, listening to some of these talking heads try to rationalize and summarize what the fuck they witnessed. I'm genuinely happy for the Hoosiers. And honestly, this is the reason why I do think they are going to win the national championship. I genuinely don't think anybody can stop the absolute bulldozer they have created in Bloomington, Indiana. I know they got a rematch with Oregon coming up, and it's not going to be an easy game, but how do you stop, honestly, one of the most complete football teams in the country in the Indiana Hoosiers? And do you see any weaknesses with this team whatsoever, Squid? I think I asked this last week, and I don't know if we got an answer, but I'm going to ask it again in case I didn't. Do we have any weaknesses here whatsoever?
None that are consistently exploitable, like with other teams.
Exactly.
They don't have that problem.
The most complete team in college football. If you bet against the Hoosiers, you're a fool. Straight up, you're just a fool. It's theirs to lose at this point. I don't care if they play Ole Miss or Miami or Oregon. They could beat all three of those teams, I feel like. They don't have any issues. They don't have any exploits to explore. And, God, just an absolute fantastic, fantastic football game. One of the damnedest things I've seen in Rose Bowl history. And I love me a good Rose Bowl.
You do love you a good Rose Bowl, I'll tell you that much. Well, if you're a Hoosier fan, you've got to be loving your life right now, because I think that's the first time they've been to the Rose Bowl, first time they've won it, first time they beat down out. No, what do you mean no?
Well, it was the first time they won it. They did make the Rose Bowl in 1968. They proceeded to get run over by O.J. Simpson and the USC Trojans that year.
Well, nobody was alive for that, so who gives a shit?
But you know what? That's the kind of ball game you go back and you watch. And if Keith Jackson, the late, great Keith Jackson, was alive today, he would have been laughing and cutting up jokes with his color commentator at the end of the game, like he always did when shit got rough for the other team. If Keith Jackson's laughing in the booth, someone's getting their asses handed to them. Mm-hmm. I wish we could have heard that.
Right. Bull Muscle, thank you very much for the 2. And I think this goes to you, Red. Imagine being mad at the head coach for 2 L's and making the playoffs.
I'm going to be mad at the head coach for 2 L's and making the playoffs. Some of the play calls he did on the offense was just shit. He did not call a good game. Do I think he should be fired for it? No. I have my head on straight, but I can criticize the head coach as you could criticize your head coach a little bit there, Bull. Just saying. Ooh. But I am very happy that you can enjoy my suffering.
Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. Before we get to this next one, I got to do something real fast. Hot dog!
Oh, no.
Hot dog!
Oh,
hot dog, hot dog, hot diggity dog. The dog's put down. It's time for tears. I forgot the rest. Yeah, something like that. All right, well, hold up. Man, there we go. Yes.
What a game this was.
This was a hell of a game. If you were a fan of college football, which everyone here is, boy, did we get a hell of a game here. We ate good in this one. Well, at least everybody who wasn't rooting for somebody, they ate good in this one. This was a very fun game to watch. Very entertaining, a lot of offense, a lot of great plays, especially from Trinidad Chambliss. You want to talk about an underrated pickup over this offseason? Getting Chambliss has been one of the best things to happen to Ole Miss's football program that I can remember, or anybody can remember for that matter, because he has led them on a collision course in what would now be known as the best season in Ole Miss football history. And yeah, no, this was a phenomenal game to watch, especially towards the end of that game. Now, I will say the end of that game turned into an absolute shit show. That show at the end of that game turned even worse than our show. That's how bad, that's how terrible that was. It was an absolute mess at the end there of ref ball incompetence and absolute foolishness. And ref ball, they made it about themselves at several points in that game. A really bad pass interference call or no call there. They missed a couple of key plays, missed a couple of a lot of people are mad about the no targeting call on Gunnar Stockton. A lot of Georgia fans specifically were mad about that one. And then there were flags down at the end of that game that they basically just gave Georgia in an effort to keep them in that ball game. It all came down to Ole Miss at the very end of that game, solidifying it in one of the best plays imaginable. All the credit in the world to Trinidad Chambliss in that game. He brought them all the way down there and won in literally one of the most entertaining ball games imaginable. There really isn't much else I can say about it other than what a hell of a ball game. What a play by Stribling at the end of that game to get them into that position to win it with the game-winning field goal. And then, of course, you had the tomfoolery at the end there where the game was already lost for Georgia, but then they do that circus act with all the laterals, which led to his safety. And then the refs stood around for 25 minutes trying to figure out whether or not the game was over. It was like the refs at the end of that USC TCU game where they're going, the game is not over. The game is not over. The game is not over. It's over. That's what that was. Except it was just extended to a BS amount. But no, it's a great game with an even better result where the Rebels, the underdogs, get the jump on the Bulldogs, prevent Kirby Mouse from getting to the national championship or anywhere near it. And once again, they'll go out in the quarterfinals. Fun fact for you, for the Georgia fans in here, Georgia has not won a playoff game since they beat TCU in the national championship. Ay.
By the way, who the fuck knew Ferris State was such a fucking factory for developing future FBS superstars? Like,
who would have thunk it, huh?
Who knew that the now defending national champions of Division II football, Ferris State, who won the Natty back in December, I might add, absolutely just churns these fuckers out like butter. This was a great game, man. I also find it wholly ironic that it took until the all-SEC game for us to see some really bad officiating in this round of the playoffs, because the first three games, they were pretty clean. We didn't really see a whole lot of controversial calls. There was no real bad penalties or nothing like that. And then the second two SEC teams collide. All of a sudden, it's like, I forget what a fucking flag is. And they just start throwing dumbass penalties left and right. It's ridiculous. I don't know. I get the argument, like at the end of the game when we were seeing, the pitchy woo woo into the end zone for a safety, that, okay, technically there was 1 second left on the clock, but at that point, like, why fucking bother? And then we remembered why we bothered, because then Ole Miss stupidly didn't fall on the ball during the onside kick, which in football, the rules are, if you fall on the ball and you're the offense, you don't fucking muff the ball, no time comes off the clock because the clock only starts when you have possession. But if you're already on the ground, then the clock doesn't move. It's basically a free play, which then results in Georgia getting that final pitchy woo-woo. And, well, it was what it was. I mean, I just, Zap, will you shut the fuck up about my kicking abilities in college football 25? Jesus fucking Christ. I know I suck. Look, I think you want to look at the entire picture of the game here. Simply put, this started out kind of similar to what we saw in October between these two teams. We saw Ole Miss and Georgia kind of slugging it out there at first, but then Georgia broke away. They broke away, had a nice solid lead. We all kind of thought, okay, here it goes. The Bulldogs are about to run away with it. It's going to be another fucking blowout. But then the reverse of what happened in October happened. Georgia just fucking disappeared. Ole Miss found a way to contain them on defense. And honestly, good. I'm glad. Not only because I get to see you actually be happy about something for once, but also because Lane Kiffin looks like the biggest fucking idiot on the face of the college football world.
That's the gift that keeps
leaving this team high and dry, a la the Baltimore Colts with a fucking airplane. I cannot imagine how sick to his stomach watching his team find a way to beat Georgia when he had the opportunity to do the same in October and couldn't do it.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like, is this Ole Miss's semifinal game to lose against Miami? On paper, they should have a really good opportunity to win this game. They are, it kind of reminds me of what happened with Ohio State last year. Ohio State lost to Michigan. They got absolutely railroaded by everybody in Columbus and across the country for losing. And it lit a fire under their ass that carried them to the national championship. Do I think that's going to happen for Ole Miss? I don't know. But what I do know is that Ole Miss is extremely dangerous and should not be taken lightly.
We'll see. We'll find out. First off, Bull Muscle, thank you very much for the 2. Says, after Friend, Summerlin, Jimbo, now I'm going to be happy. No kidding. That is a nightmare.
All right. I get it.
Arctic Phoenix with the 2. Thank you very much. Says, Ferris State versus UMass. Who would win head-to-head? Oh,
Ferris State wins 67-0.
Okay. I think come on, man. FBS is yeah.
Only to piss you off, buddy.
Yeah, that was about as dumb as that decision Kirby made on that 4th down. How are you gonna in a very close game like that with time left, more than enough time left on the clock to get the ball back? How in the world are you gonna go for it at your own 30 and give Ole Miss the ball back in really good field position to go down and score in a close game? How are you gonna do that? It seems to me that Kirby Mouse has found a way to get out coached for what's been a while. Ever since Todd Monken left, he's been getting out coached.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. You're right. We'll say this: as good as it is to see Georgia lose, because don't get me wrong, it's fun to see them lose. It's even funnier for me. It's just as fun for me to see Lane Kiffin get the same treatment. So,
yeah, I mean, how do you think the fucking people at LSU feel right now, knowing they got to pay this fucker hand over fist more money for a team he left? And he's not even coaching, continuing to win playoff games. I bet you if his ass was there, they would have lost the game.
Yeah, no, what's funny is that now Ole Miss beat LSU, and now they're being forced to pay. Now LSU is being forced to pay Lane Kiffin for the money that the team that beat them is winning.
I still don't understand why they would agree to that. Like, why the fuck would you pay him more money for the success of a completely different team, a conference rival at that? That'd be like Ohio State hiring a new head coach from Michigan, God forbid, and then Michigan goes on to run in the playoffs, and we are paying that head coach for Michigan winning. It's like it
was probably a raw incentive to get him there.
It's absolute desperation that
absolutely
makes me sick to my stomach to see. Genuinely, like it's so sad.
Yeah, well,
what resume?
I don't know. It's not even, to me, it's not even sad. It's funny to me. Because it turns out when you do stupid things in college football, the stupid comes back to you eventually in the form of you making an absolute clown of yourself. We've seen it with everybody. When you do stupid comes back to you eventually. So we'll all get our opportunity to laugh at them sooner or later. Before we get into these bowl games, there's something I wanted to touch up on. This news dropped during the show. I've already seen people talking about it. I gotta, as bad as you feel for Nebraska fans already.
Oh no, we're talking about this. Oh fuck, I just saw it too.
Yep, you saw it too. Yep. So they land Notre Dame backup quarterback under CJ Carr, Kenny Minchie. He's been in college for a while now. But they landed him after Dylan Raiola hit the portal. Well, news just dropped that he has changed his mind, has flipped. He is flipped from Nebraska to, I got to get really close to the mic for this one, Kentucky. Think about that for a second.
Dun, dun, dun.
He flipped from Nebraska to Kentucky. That is how down horrendous the Cornhuskers are. Despite finally having a winning season, Kentucky's football program looks better in the eyes of a quarterback than Nebraska. How have you gotten to that point where the Wildcats are a more desirable football program?
I just want to know what the hell Nebraska did to piss him off.
Hell if I know, but what I do know is
realize that Lincoln, Nebraska is nothing but crackheads and Cornhuskers and just left. Like, what the fuck?
Clearly looking for a source of motivation. Oh, there it is. Yep, the people are saying motivated.
Oh, Willie's got the right idea. He wanted to come back closer to Kentucky to get some of that Skyline chili.
I guess so. Yeah, shout out to Kentucky.
We
literally talked about it earlier. How they don't have a quarterback now. Well, guess what? They just found him, and they didn't have to go search. Well, I guess they technically did because he's a super senior as well. So it's right back to their roots for Kentucky. But wow, I thought he was committed to the Cornhuskers. I cannot believe that.
I thought so too. The fact that they absolutely lost him like that to a bottom tier SEC school. Matt Rule is not all powerful. You think that he's starting to run the world there in Nebraska, and the cracks slowly start to appear yet again for Matt Rule.
This is an interesting comment. Nebraska's our running team now.
Yeah, they're running away from their opponent.
Yeah, aren't all their running backs in the portal too? That's the problem.
Yeah,
they don't have anybody to run the ball anymore. Except TJ LeQuee, for whatever that guy's name is.
The what? TJ the what?
You heard what I said. All right. Anyway,
that's good.
Throwing that aside, let's touch on
one of these days. We're just gonna say something stupid, and you're gonna get our asses in trouble. And I'm the one.
We've been saying stupid on here ever since the show began.
I know, and literally when we were discussing the show and the details about it in that little cabin in Gatlinburg, Tennessee, when you came and visited me in person, we were talking business. I was talking about how I was going to be the dumb one and I was going to be the silly one that gets us in trouble. And literally, without fail, you are usually the one that does more than 50% of the sound bites. They're stupid.
So do you want to laugh at Michigan or not?
Oh, of course.
Okay, good. Because that's where we're at right now. We wanted to touch on these bowls really fast. Yeah. I wanted to touch on these bowls and get my thoughts on those. Citrus Bowl finalizes itself. Arch Manning masterclass in this one. He had a hell of a day. Almost 400 yards and 4 touchdowns total by Arch, proving his dual threat to some worthiness. Christian Clark, who we've never seen before, he had a good day today as well, or a good day today, obviously metaphorically, because it's not today that when the game was played. You get the idea. Mm-hmm. Arch had himself a great day. Michigan, not much so. Once again, Samaj Morgan, a detriment to Michigan. He's the 12th man for the Longhorns at this point, or the 12th man for anybody Michigan's playing. It never went well for the Wolverines. But then again, Bryce Underwood had a terrible day against the defense as well. 3 interceptions. It's never a competition. Texas just ran away with it.
Look, I'm just I'm just happy to see the Wolverines lose a game. I had no dog in this fight because fuck both these teams, honestly. I hate Texas. I hate Michigan more. And to see that Michigan is absolutely getting their shit raked by the horns makes any Buckeye feel a little bit better. Let me get a quick update from one of our from Zep over here, our local Michigan man, who says he expected the Texas Longhorns to have 17 to 20 points total. Happy to see there was actual offense and it being a good blow for blow match. However, what killed the Wolverines were a pair of back-breaking picks. Well, we all know Underwood's staying at Michigan, so that last bit doesn't really matter. But either way, if you're a Michigan fan, you're just happy that you still have Underwood after all this nonsense that happened with Sharon Moore. And most importantly, that it seems like your team might stay in one piece going into the transfer portal for the most part. But I did hear that for Texas, who the fuck hit the portal? Was it Travion Wisner? Hit the portal, one of their top running backs.
Wisner, yeah.
I wonder where he's going to end up. I really do.
That will be interesting to find out. Maybe it's Nebraska because they need a running back.
They need something, goddammit. But I mean, Texas, Arch Manning's starting to come into his own. They could actually maybe kind of sort of maybe, I don't know, be something better next year as long as he's continuing the momentum during the spring camps and they get some more weapons and most importantly give him some confidence with a solid offensive line. Get on it, Sark. You only have maybe 1, maybe 2 more years with this fucker. God damn it. God fucking damn it.
Yeah, F Indiana though, right? F Indiana. Yeah. Yeah, you deserve the Heisman over him, bud, right? Oh yeah, this is exactly what happens when karma is a thing in college football. F Indiana though, right? Yeah, right. This is exactly what he deserved. Now it's funny because he actually had a really good day, almost 400 yards of offense on his own, but his defense let him down at the very end there. Mark Gronowski somehow manages to pull together a semi-competent Iowa offense that outmatched Vandy overall. The defense let him Pavia down, but again, karma has a way of kind of coming around, and boy, did it come around for you. That's all I can really say about that.
Honestly, yeah, this is just karma incarnate right here. I think you hit it right on the head. I'm shocked. I'm genuinely shocked that we saw the Iowa Hawkeyes to absolutely blitzkrieg and go just ape shit on Vanderbilt. Like, genuinely shocked here. But I think what might have happened, honestly, is they expected Iowa's offense to come out lackluster and mediocre, and they weren't. And they actually came out pretty good. Gronowski is not a stranger to postseason games. He played really, really well in South Dakota last year. And as we all know, South Dakota State, I should say. And if you're a fan of FCS, you know that those guys are not a stranger to the postseason. So the lights were definitely not too big for him. He made the plays. He got the passing yards. One interception wasn't enough to derail his day. And the Hawkeyes get a rare New Year's Eve, in this case, win against an SEC opponent on a New Year's Eve or New Year's Day.
That is very shocking.
Secondary bowl game, which is truly, truly shocking.
Yeah, I hope the ride was worth it, though, Vandy fans. No doubt a hell of a year for y'all. Congratulations on ending the year as the ReliQuest runner-up. Congratulations.
Way to go. I hope that Birmingham Bowl trophy is still looking nice after you guys won it last year.
Yeah, when's the 20-year anniversary for the Compass Bowl? Remember they celebrated, put up an Instagram post and a Twitter post about it too. They like full on celebrated winning the Compass Bowl. It was a 15-year anniversary of winning the Compass Bowl.
Well, you
So,
got to remember, what else is Vanderbilt football history besides the occasional bowl win out of nowhere?
right. No, this was their best year.
Yep,
No
and
doubt
it's over.
about it.
And it's over. Back to probably not going to be anywhere near this good next year. This was their shot.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
No kidding. All right, Las Vegas Bowl. No surprise here. Nebraska seems to have lost most of their competent pieces on offense. So despite the fact that TJ, well, I can't say the rest of that because he already got mad at me for it once, but TJ Lateef, as we'll call him, considering the fact that he still managed to put up some points, I mean, it wasn't that bad of a showing overall, considering that Utah had most of their pieces playing. Devon Dampier was still playing in this one, and he ran through the Nebraska defense. 5 total touchdowns and almost 500 yards for Dampier. Mm-hmm. Just a hell of a day for him. And Utah ends their season 11-2. And while Kyle Whittingham is gone, Utah had a really good run with him, and maybe they'll stick around in the Big 12, but I guess we're due to find out.
I mean, we'll see what they end up doing as we go through the offseason, and what pieces they can bring in. Is Dampier still at Utah, or is he going to transfer? Because I kind of expected him half thinking he was going to follow Whittingham to Michigan. But since Underwood's staying, that kind of locks him out at that point, because I don't think Dampier would beat Underwood in a quarterback's competition, unless Dampier was out of eligibility, which I don't think that's the case. He's still got a year or two left, I would imagine. So
potentially so, yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, Utah finished strong, all things considered, a solid year. You can't be too mad about it. He's a junior. Okay, he's got another year if he so chooses, which I seriously think he's going to choose.
Yeah, I don't think he has the sheet big enough to make the draft.
No, he would be undrafted, no doubt about it, which is not good. I would imagine that he'll stick around Utah, and that'll be a good thing for them to build around next year's team and see what they can make with it. I mean, he's literally everything on that offense. He's the passer, he's the rusher, he's the start, he's the stop. So they should still be able to make a little bit of noise next year, but they're going to have to rebuild a little bit for sure.
No doubt about it. All right, and then there's one more from the New Year's Eve games that we'll touch on, and then we'll move on to the semifinals, and then we'll call it. And this was a really, really good. This was a really fun one to witness, which I'm going to be honest. Yeah. Which I'm going to be very, very honest. Whenever you see the QB battle like this, you think, oh, one team's going to run away with this one. Darian Mensah versus Jeff Sims. You're immediately thinking, oh yeah, no question about it. There's no doubt. Mensah's running away with this one, but no, not only did Jeff Sims hold his own, he came in through the clutch on various occasions, almost 400 yards passing, over 400 total. He had 5 touchdowns on the day. I mean, overall, Jeff Sims led this team through the entire thing against Duke's defense, it was a very impressive showing overall. There's no doubt about that. However, that one interception coming in, it's almost an expectation with Jeff Sims, but he has the tendency of being the most unclutch quarterback anybody's ever seen, and no surprise that they came up short in the end there because of it. But yeah, I mean, Darian Mensah had himself a hell of a day too. 300 yards passing, 4 touchdowns, 1 reception on the day. No doubt had himself a hell of a day too. This was a battle worthy of being the send-off for Gary Danielson. For those who don't know, this was Gary Danielson's final game of commentary before officially retiring. He had a hell of a run, really, really good run. And this was a good game to finish it off with. So yeah.
Obligatory fuck you to CBS for cutting his ass off mid-speech when they were doing the final thoughts and send-off as he was saying thank yous and goodbyes to the crew and everything at CBS. Cut his ass off. Like, I saw some people be online say, well, they were counting him down. They needed to have him wrap it up. I'm like, was it that goddamn important to make your commercial on time? Like, what was on next after the Sun Bowl? Like, the fuck?
Some soccer mom detective show as per the usual.
Like the fucking local news could wait 2 more minutes for a legend of the game to finish what he has to say. I know damn well they wouldn't have done that to Vern. I know damn well they would not have dared to do that to Vern Lundquist when he retired.
They didn't do it. When Vern retired post the Army Navy game back in 2016, they didn't. They let him finish his speech.
Yeah, so why was Danielson so much different? Fuck you, CBS. But as for the game itself, oh, dude, I wish I watched this live. This was great. This was a fun ball. And the one thing that I loved watching, looking back on the highlights of this thing, the players loved it too. And you get a lot of flack, and you hear a lot of people like, oh, they don't care about the bowl games no more. No one gives a fuck about the bowl games. It's like games like the Pop-Tarts Bowl and now the Sun Bowl. It shows me that college football players still love these things. It's just, obviously the game has evolved and changed, but they had a lot of fun with it. And like the jumping into the Cereal Bowl was great. It was a high scoring game. They let it all hang out. No one held back. Balls to the wall. And it was a classic, an absolute classic. And I mean, good for Duke, right? Duke showed one thing. They at least have an argument for being rightful ACC champs. Like after all the bullshit that was said about them, a fluke, way into the championship game and then beating a Virginia team that was fraudulent. Having a gritty win like this against Arizona State, who isn't a bad team, and they actually just came off of a playoff appearance last year. You can't ask for a much better, like, prove it kind of moment for the Devils. Who the fuck knows where Duke's going to be next year? They could build off of this and really turn into a strong contender in the ACC. Not just like, I know they're the ACC champs, yeah, but come on, the records and who they lost to speaks for itself. They could compete with Miami if they play their cards right next year. If they continue to do what they're doing over there. I mean, I got hopes for them.
And if they did and somehow found a way to beat him, boy, would that be entertaining for the narratives. Manny Diaz beating his former team. I would love that. But yeah, congratulations to Duke. Both of these teams, they put everything out there on this day. It was a hell of a game overall. And well, somebody had to win, somebody had to lose, and Duke found a way to become the winner, which honestly to me is more impressive winning the Sun Bowl than it is to win the ACC.
Honestly, yeah.
The
Sun Bowl is like another like forgotten bowl game that's got a lot of prestige attached to it. It's one of the older games as well, too. Like you have legendary players that have graced the base of the El Paso Mountains over there. So I mean, hey, it's a great game to go to if you can go to it.
All right, we're running low on time here, so I'll just go ahead and shout out these teams, and then we'll get on ahead into the semifinals. But yeah, these are the teams that played on Friday after all the quarterfinals. SMU knocked down Arizona 24-19. Shout out to SMU, the Horsies. Kevin Jennings, despite the fact that he did not have a good day, Kevin Jennings did not have a good day of offense. 3 interceptions, no touchdowns, but thanks to the efforts of the defense, they were able to hold on, get the job done, and beat down Arizona.
There you go, Ponies. Well done.
Yeah, that's right. Texas State finishes their season on a high note with a winning season, 7-6 now after a win over Rice, who entered the game at 5-7 because, they had somebody opt out, so they jumped in to take the place. And, they were there, so shout out to Rice for at least showing up for a good minute there. But Texas State moves on to 7-6.
Good on you, Texas State, for not punching your fans in the dick to end the season, because they did that way too fucking often this year with their fan base. Like I'm pretty sure a few of the male fans for Texas State went sterile just watching this fucking team.
You're probably right about that. Navy, shout out to the midshipmen. Finish out with 11 wins after beating on Cincinnati, who I would argue is probably the Pittsburgh of this year. Started out really strong, got in the rankings. I think they were like 6-1, 7-1, and then they just fell apart. Just so many losses in a row, and then they got blown out by Navy, got belt to ass. G5. So I guess they remembered their roots pretty well because they got beat down by the G5 again.
Well, I mean, I think wasn't Sorsby out for that game as well? Like, didn't he already declare for the portal? He was out of that game. So that was a big reason why they didn't win.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I mean, you can talk shit all you want, but like, the transfer portal kind of fucked them there. I think if UC's playing with all their men, they win that game easily because Navy only has one thing, and that's to run.
I don't know. I don't know. I think it can't be that big of a difference, but maybe it is. I don't know. But either way, they don't finish their season on the high note. Instead, that goes to the midshipmen. And then finally, shout out to Wake Forest. They get the Mayo bath after winning the Duke's Mayo Bowl 43-29 over Mississippi State. So unfortunately, State could not finish their post. They could not finish this season undefeated in the non-con. They had to lose to somebody out of the conference, and well, it turns out that was Wake Forest because they voluntarily entered that game to get their ass beat. So shout out to them for showing up.
Yeah, I mean Mississippi State. I kind of just capitalizes on like, just how rough of a season they really had. They started off strong, and they got through the non-con slate kind of easily, and then the SEC slate hit them like a Mack truck. But good on the Demon Deacons. Like, they don't win bowl games too often, and that's a hell of a bowl game to win. So, I mean, congratulations to Wake Forest for getting a win against an SEC team. Although I feel like the speciality of that, like how incredibly rare that usually is, kind of got diminished over the course of the entire bowl season. How many games have the SEC won in the bowl season, Squid? 2?
I think we finished with 4 or like 4-9. No, the different leagues narrative took a massive hit over this year. Truth be told, we're not a different league anymore. We're not. We're not.
I saw. By the way, what the fuck was Cam Newton on about the day after Alabama got their asses smoked like a fucking cigar, saying like, "Oh, the SEC is still the top league in the NCAA." You know why? We get ratings.
Delusion.
What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
It's delusion, and we don't even get that anymore. A lot of them check in on the Big Ten. I mean, the Big Ten's the best conference this year. Doesn't mean it won't change, but it is. The Big Ten is the best conference. But parity in college football has proven one thing, that the SEC can't just hog all the top talent anymore.
Yeah, no. I mean,
Just
ever
the
since
reality
the
of the
transfer portal
situation.
became a thing, I mean, that was the end. Like, everyone was talking. I knew in my head years ago when I realized what this transfer portal could mean for all the smaller schools to get players. A lot of people were thinking that the bigger schools were just going to hog all the talent because of the transfer portal, but that is like so incredibly wrong at this point, because now let's look at the semifinals, because I can tell you right now, you've never seen a college football semifinal like this in your fucking life.
Yeah, speaking of, let's go ahead and get into this because we're down to like a little bit of time left. So let's go ahead and talk about it.
I was trying to segue into that kind of smooth, Squid, but okay.
No, you did. You went into it smoothly. No, I'll give you credit for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, here we go.
Podcasting thing.
All right. Anyway. January 8th, this Thursday, 7:30 p.m. We have our first college football playoff semifinal game between two contenders nobody would have expected to be here: the Miami Hurricanes and the Ole Miss Rebels. To give you some narratives here, both of these teams, you have to go way back to find their last championship. Of course, Miami fans remember the days of 2001, Ed Reed, all the 5 rings. Been a long time since they've been successful, at least long-term in program history. Ole Miss, you got to go way, way back, all the way back to 1961 to find their last claimed national championship. But if you want to go back to the time they officially claimed, or not just claimed, but got a national championship everybody agreed on, you'd have to go back to nowhere land because it doesn't exist. So this would be the first time ever, if they're able to hold on here and somehow win the Natty, that Ole Miss would find a way to win a national championship. But they've still got ways to go. This is going to be a hell of a game here. The Canes are coming in as a 3.5-point favorite in this one. You already know their defense is going to be loud. They're going to be extreme. They're going to be all over that Ole Miss team the entire night. It was proven time and time again just how clutch Trinidad Chambliss can be even in those situations. He's proven it against some of the top class defensive lines, that even in those clutch situations, he'll find a way to make things happen. Prove it against Georgia last week that he'll find a way. And here's the thing about this is that Miami's defensive line has been an absolute monster the entirety of their postseason run. They're like it against Texas A&M. They're like it against Ohio State. They have brought so many design blitzes, so many different things that they have done with their defensive front. It has just thrown those other two teams out of whack. And here comes Ole Miss, and they've been having a really good run offensively. You can't say that about the other teams. Ole Miss has reached their peak, and to me, so has Miami. So, this is a tough one to call, but I guess I'll go with it first. It has been at this point almost impossible to go against that might of the defensive front in the Hurricanes. I think Miami wins this game, and I do think it'll be close. I think Chambliss is going to make some motions. I think he's going to be more effective on offense than either Ohio State or Texas A&M, but I don't think the effort is going to be enough. Because here's the problem with Ole Miss. They've had some problems on defense. In most cases, some of them has been their run game. They have let some teams run all over them. And while I don't think Miami is going to have like this significant amount of success, I think they're going to do just enough to get the job done here. Give me the Hurricanes over the Rebels. The seventh floor goes to the national championship.
So let me actually find something, but it's okay. Let me actually show you guys something just for reference. Squid, small correction. You were close. It was 1962 the last time they had any sort of recognition for a national championship. This was their national championship. Ladies and gentlemen, may I introduce you to the Litkin House Rankings Championship plaque. It was a traveling trophy that was designed by the Litkin House rating system and was passed around from team to team. Ole Miss just so happened to be the last team to claim this championship and then stopped being passed around and was retired. So, just so you're aware, the only people that they didn't win the national championship in 1962 because of the AP or the coaches poll. They got the Billingsley, the Litkin House, and the Sagarin. 3, approved selectors, but minor selectors, right? Why do I show you this poll? Or why do I show you this trophy? Number one, I think it's kind of fucking cool. Number two, just kind of goes to show like when a lot of people are talking about like, oh, Ole Miss has never won a national championship. They really haven't. They really haven't won a national championship that's consensus. No one's ever thought of Ole Miss as like a championship football team. That has changed. That has changed in a heartbeat. But on the other hand, there is a football team here that has won 5 national championships. Last one coming in 2001 by laying the belt upon the ass cheeks of the Cornhuskers in the 2002 Rose Bowl national championship game. And that is the Miami Hurricanes. And as someone who has been freshly 7th floored by the crew, I can attest to how good they are. They are a very good football team. They have done a lot of great things this season, and Carson Beck finally arrived when they needed him most in this postseason. That said, I'm going to go with the slight underdog here and pick the Ole Miss Rebels to win. And the reason why I'm picking it for Ole Miss is simple. I think the weapon they have in Trinidad Chambliss is a far superior quarterback than Carson Beck. I think their defense should be able to shut down the Miami offensive attack. They've seen similar players like Fletcher and Malachi Toney before in their conference. I think Malachi Toney is one of the most dynamic players in all of college football, but he's just one guy. Meanwhile, Ole Miss can clearly take down the best of the best. They just beat Georgia in convincing fashion in the second half, I should say. They won the second half by a landslide. If this was a judge's decision and it was tied at the end, Ole Miss would have won. So I think that's going to carry them through into the Fiesta Bowl. So I'm going to go with the Rebs. I mean, I hate to see Lane Kiffin profit from Ole Miss's success, but I think they're the better team.
Different leagues. Ain't that the truth?
I mean, I don't want to see the SEC in the national championship game. I preferably would rather see, nobody from the SEC in the national championship game for a third straight year. But
we get it.
But I'm kind of pissed off at Miami now. So fuck the Canes.
Ooh. If anything, you should want them to win, though, because if they find a way to win the Natty, it makes you all look a lot better in comparison. That was the silver lining. That was the silver lining we had when y'all beat us. Was okay, so we lost to the national championship in the playoffs. yeah. Okay. Anyway, dumbass.
We didn't even make the Big Ten championship, and we lost to our rival.
Yeah. Blah blah blah. That's why. Excuse me. That's what I think about that. Okay, then. Well, moving on here. We got one more game to talk about before we call it a show. Of course, it is time. The Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. Boy, what odds do Oregon have here? The Duckies are going up against the combine known as the Indiana Hoosiers. Man, what a squad they have been. They remain standing tall as the lone undefeated here in the college football playoffs or here in college football in general. They're coming in as a 3.5-point favorite over the Duckies. And this is a rematch for those of you who need a refresher, as Oregon has already taken an L to Indiana earlier on in the year in Autzen Stadium, no less. So I would best expect that Dante Moore is hungry and ready for revenge. Indiana is a little new to this position, as this is only their second time being here and only their third playoff game overall. Oregon, meanwhile, has been in the playoffs many, many a times. Dan Lanning has been in here quite a few times. And they've got a statement to prove. They've been in the postseason and in one of these big matchups many, many times before. So they've got that going for them. But, man, they are facing what seems to be insurmountable odds against the likes of Indiana, who is a team that they've got no exploitable holes on their roster. That has been told about before. There's not much you can say. Would you say Fernando Mendoza is a better quarterback than Dante Moore? Probably. Yeah, no doubt. I think they've got just as good, if not a better run game than Oregon. They've got what seems to be, I would say Oregon might have the edge on their wide receiver core, because I do think Malik Benson is the best receiver on both rosters right now. But Omar Cooper is really good. They've got a lot of talent going on around them. Both of these teams do. But I went with Indiana last week when I had them play against Alabama. I went against them on that one. I got to side with them here. I think Indiana takes control in this one. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think Oregon's going to perform much better than Alabama did. But to me, this is a team that's going to be more than well prepared to take on the Duckies again. And despite the revenge factor coming in through the clutch here, I don't think it'll still be enough. I think Indiana's going to take control and win.
No, and I think Indiana's going to win this game by at least 2 touchdowns on this one. And the reason why I'm predicting a 2-score touchdown lead here is simple. You look back at Oregon's performance against Texas Tech in the Orange Bowl, again, 23-0 blowout. Looks impressive if you only look at the score box. But look at the game as a whole. Look at the summary as a whole. The offense really did not play to their best potential against one of the best defenses in the country. This is the best defense in the country. This is the best team in the country. This is the best everything in the country, and we've seen this show before. Even if Oregon could come out in the first half and get a couple of plays off and maybe even have a tie game going into halftime, what does Curt Cignetti do with Indiana? They know how to adjust. They are going to step on the throats of Donald fucking Duck and break their necks in Atlanta, Georgia. I'm sorry, Duckies. I know like hell you want to see my Oregon Ducks story time officially age like milk. Finally, even though it's been out for over a year now and you guys still haven't won a national championship, it's not happening this year. You ran into a buzzsaw known as the Hoosiers. You give me the Hoosiers by 2 scores. Easy. I don't need to say anything else. Fernando Mendoza, Heisman, Roman Hemby, just Omar Cooper Jr.
They're championship team, sure.
They're loaded, man. They're fucking loaded.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us here on the FBS Report. I've got nothing else to say in regards to that. Red, do you have anything to finalize this show with, or You want ready to call it a night?
Well, be on the lookout. I am way fucking late on making my reaction video to the final 2 games, the Orange Bowl and the Sugar Bowl. Part of that is writer's block. Part of that is downright exhaustion because I was fucking tired as shit after all the football last week and just life stuff. Raising 2 kids, it can be tiring. But I will have the Texas Tech video out here in the next, hopefully, 30 minutes. I just need to review it real quick and make sure everything is still right. It's going to be a really short video, like 2.5 minutes. And then tomorrow, I'm going to try to get Georgia Ole Miss out. And that's going to be a much longer video. Probably one of those like full game review style videos, which it's probably a good thing that I waited this long because the Mouse House would probably nuke my ass from orbit. Surprisingly, though, they didn't.
You're talking about the dogs, like the team, or
no, the actual Mouse House, the ones that froze Walt Disney's head and put it underneath Disney World.
I know. Yeah, I believe me, I get it. All right then. Well, I think that's going to finalize everything over here at the FBS Report. Thank you to everybody who supported our show. This has been a hell of a season. And of course, it's not over yet. We've still got 2 more weeks of this, getting things ready for the finale of college football chaos, along with many other projects. I've had to turn in a bunch of stuff for my school. I've got to go turn in my parking permit tomorrow. So that's going to be fun. Well, it's the refund thing. I would keep it if there was no refund thing for it, where you can get half of the price back for selling it. So yeah, no.
I kept my college ID. It's still in my wallet, actually. The whole.
Oh well, no, I'm keeping my ID. I'm talking about my parking permit.
Oh, my college was Wilmington College. We weren't big enough to have parking permits. You just got to designate a spot and a sticker, and that's it.
Yeah. What's funny is that we've got parking permits, but nobody can park anyway.
Yeah, no shit. Where the fuck can you park in that place? Like, you get tens of thousands of students trying to use their cars at once there. Like, what the fuck?
You can park in the dadgum Tennessee River. There you go.
Right next to the goalposts?
Somewhere within that range. Yeah. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah. All right. Well, guys, thank you all so much for supporting our show. Special thank you to Zepp for helping power the show through everything that he's done for both of us. Sends us a bunch of clips, fonts, all of that stuff. Thank you very much for helping us through our endeavors, good sir. I by the way, endorse everybody to go check out the FCS Championship currently in the 4th quarter. It's a really close game, actually. Illinois State's down at the goal line, getting ready to score on Montana State, make it a 1-score game in that one. Would highly recommend checking that out. Actually, battling for FCS dominance.
Touchdown, Illinois State, touchdown.
And there you go. One score game. Touchdown. There you go. 20-28, pending the extra point. It's going to be 21-28 in that ball game. Would highly recommend checking that out if you get the chance. All right, guys.
He played in Vanderbilt, by the way.
Oh, yeah, no. Yeah, man. That's the only time Vanderbilt will ever host a championship. So, yeah.
Man, you hate those fuckers, don't you?
Yeah, I'm legally obligated to do so.
Real quick before we go, because we're not quite at 2 hours yet, but I want to ask you, who do you hate more, Georgia or Vandy?
Hot dog! Hot dog! All right, I'm done. Let's get out of here, man. Let's get out of here.
All right. God damn it, that was funny.
Yeah.
Thanks, everybody. Enjoy your week. Enjoy the semifinals. And as always, power to Rediria.
Yeah, right. Okay, shut up. Power to Tardaria. Stay safe this weekend. Get ready for some really good ball games. And brush your teeth. All right. Yeah, there you go. See you guys next week.
Shave your face once in a while.